Hi, it's Sylvia Machete. Thanks for joining me today on Luminosity TV. So here's a quick question for you. Have you been inspired lately? I bet you have been. Are you one of the billions of people in the world today being inspired by one thing or the other? Is what you are watching, reading, or listening to inspiring you to think in a certain way, or maybe act in a certain way? Or maybe you are even starting to change your views because of something you heard or something you read or something they said. Do you have coaches, influencers, or mentors that you look up to as your source of inspiration? Yes, join the club. There are so many around the world today. And lately, even I've had one or two people who have messaged me that I've inspired them and that they would like for me to mentor them. I'm like, well, I'm not so sure. I'm always ready to help where possible because I'm still a work in progress and the work on myself is taking a little longer than expected. But on a more serious note, when we say that we are inspired, where do we suppose this inspiration comes from? Everyone seems to be inspired these days. Everywhere you go, whether it be athletes or singers or politicians, somehow they are all drawing inspiration from somewhere. So today, I'm curious to know where exactly. As always, my goal or my wish is to be able to wake up something within us that would lead us to draw in the right kind of inspiration. In my very honest opinion, I believe that as much as we can draw inspiration from our families, our friends, our work colleagues, the media, what we read and what we hear, and Netflix, a lot of all of those ways in which we are inspired all fall under two main categories and two main options. Aren't you a tiny bit curious to know what these options are? Well, it's simple. You are either drawing inspiration from the light or you are drawing inspiration from the darkness. Most of us already know that there is one supreme source of power that streams from above, from the Almighty Father, whom we worship. And that this neutral power that we draw strength from for our sustenance and survival, this power is available to us. And through our free will, which is also a gift from the Almighty, and which we have been blessed with, we can then decide what we are going to do with the power, whether it be good or whether it be for evil. So in retrospect, there is no good or evil power. It's what you decide to do with the power that determines whether it is considered good or evil. It's a bit like molding clay. When I think about molding clay, I always remember the movie The Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. I can't forget that scene where she's molding clay into a particular shape with Patrick Swayze behind her. It's the same thing with this power. You could receive it and mold it into this cute little puppy that everyone walking past will say, oh, that is so cute. Or you could mold it into a beautiful rose and people will be like, wow, that's a really beautiful thing you just molded there. Or you could mold it into a scary skull with horns and googly eyes that would scare everyone and they will all run away from it. And so for this reason, you have to know if those that you are allowing to inspire you, what they're using their powers for. Are they making cute puppies and roses? Or are they making scary skulls? For you to know that, I always say you have to be spiritually alert. Inspiration is one very common word that's been thrown around a lot. Something seems to be inspiring us all, so we might as well find out where's the source of the source I'm getting my inspiration from. And it brings me to why I make these videos. My inspiration is never in the number of likes or thumbs up or the nice comments that people leave behind, because that would be my ego needing a massage. But I'm always thinking of that little 5-year-old today who is oblivious of what life has in store and who in 13 years' time will be 18. And something will move them deep inside to find out about their spirituality. and they will possibly stumble on my video and something I said, it could be a line of sentence, it would resonate with them and find benefit. So in order for us to have a furthering activity that will last, we must always think outside of ourselves and outside of that immediate earthly benefit and results that we are looking to get for right now. We must think of the joyful possibilities of what's coming tomorrow. If you have a message, if you have a gift, if you have a talent, if you have a longing or a vibration deep within you, and you understand the journey that you are undertaking, you will find out that the very first bus stop you arrive at might have no one there, but the 20th bus stop, which might take you years to get to, will have the right person who has been waiting to see you, to hear you, to feel what you have to offer. So where does inspiration come from again? And I mean real inspiration, because we are all getting inspired one way or the other. But is it real? So here's a little homework for you. Every time you are inspired in what you are reading, what you're hearing, or what you're watching, your coach or your mentor, your influencer are doing their coaching and mentoring and influencing, you want to ask yourself, this inspiration I'm getting, where is it coming from? What does it align with? Does it align with the light or does it align with the darkness? How will you know? Only when you yourself decides to be conscious of it, then you would be quickly aware of where your inspiration is coming from and where not to get inspired by. We are at a point in our history where everything we are drawing inspiration from all falls under these two categories of light or darkness. Now you can bury your head in the sand and say, nah, I'm not sure what I'm doing falls under these categories. Everyone's doing it anyway. It's legal. But yes, you are still making a choice between light or the darkness. You can choose to suppress it. You can find excuses for it, but you are still choosing. There are laws in this creation that are binding for all of us, regardless of who we are and what we believe in. And these laws must be obeyed. Like I said in my last video, there is no time that the question will be asked of you as a human spirit. Hey, were you a Christian or a Muslim or Buddhist? Were you Catholic or Protestant or Baptist? Or, you are in the UK. Were you conservative or Labour? And for you who grew up in America, were you Republican or are you a Democrat? And in the case of my Nigerian brothers and sisters, were you APC or PDP? and what inspired your food? Were you vegan, vegetarian, or did you like meat? How about your marital status? Single, married, divorced, or are you searching? You are still searching. If you're searching, stand in that corner. Wait a minute, were you feminist or masculinist? Is that even a word? I think I just made that up. But we are more divided with the ways in which we define ourselves than any other time in our history. Why aren't we inspired to start from the basic premise of me just being a human being just like you? And if you treat me kindly, I will reciprocate. I will do the same for you. That will bring us closer than all of these labels that we sew on our sleeves and think that we are advanced. Feminist. What does it even mean to be feminist? There's been a lot of confusion and misconception for our young women today. Is it the act of being female or really just wanting to compete to be more male? If I pay for my dinner at a restaurant, does that make me feminist? And if I decide I would rather the gentleman pays for it, does it mean that I'm not feminist enough? Many haven't quite understood the concept yet, but we are inspiring our young women to the point of inciting hate on the other gender in the name of feminism. Women empowerment, ooh, that's another big one being thrown around these days. What does it mean to empower? If I bring a bunch of ladies together with absolutely no man in sight, and we pop a few bottles of champagne and we catch up on our gist and take a bunch of selfies for our Instagram photos, are we empowering ourselves? Seriously, how? Empowerment. It means giving authority and the confidence and power to do something meaningful and purposeful, to act. You can empower yourself in your quiet corner with your thoughts and your words and your actions. Unless pouring you a glass of champagne is empowering you. I know, right? Think. We women need to think. Let it rise from here, not from here. You will quickly see the vanity and the conceit that lies behind a lot of the concepts that are thrown at us today. Many of us just jump on the bandwagon and we quickly say, well, I'm all for women empowerment. And yet, we women are our own biggest critics. Keep it simple, keep it true, be kind in your nature, and you will empower. The next big thing is diversity and inclusion. Watch how quickly they're going to make a nonsense of that one too. These concepts must be understood properly and done with others in mind, not for selfish reasons and because, well, that's what the world is talking about right now, so I'm just going to join in. I have to be seen as being in tune with what's going on. Lambs to slaughter, lambs to the slaughterhouse. You don't have to follow just because everyone's on that road. Those who are empowering are doing just that. And those who are not should just quietly drink their champagne and take their selfies. I see this because I see it in my experiences daily. It's false, it's pretentious, and I share this with you so that you can see it as well and not get carried away. So before you get dragged in as willing participants, run a background check and ask yourself, these people inspiring me, where are they getting their inspiration from? Again, these are my life lessons. I'm able to take my mistakes as well as my successes and articulate them for you so that way you can become aware. It could be very different for you, obviously, but there are some unchangeable truth in the rule book of life that cannot be circumvented or changed because we are now considered advanced in our development. We are Googled and verified and trending and going viral, but mainly in the wrong direction. So if you are drawing from a light source, we will see it, we will sense it in all the smallest possible ways there is. But if your source is dark, you cannot hide. You can only hide for so long before the power of the light will flush you out. So where does your inspiration come from? Every human being has been blessed with the ability to know right from wrong, to align every decision they make with the light or with the darkness. So there is no in between. There's no ignorance of, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. We individually and collectively as a humanity, we create the soil for it. All those inspirations that have come to us, we have used the power of our thoughts to evoke them from a light place or from a dark place. Every envy, every selfishness, every bitterness and lust and greed and vanity, conceit, hate, war, crime, destruction, all the way down to those we have chosen to lead us. All of these have been attracted with our thoughts and being fueled and strengthened from dark regions. Just like joy and happiness and empathy, compassion, care, concern, love are the ways of the light. It is furthering, it is long-lasting, it is supportive of each other in love. You must know the difference when you're making your choices. Otherwise, what does it mean to be a human being if you don't know the difference? You will get blown away with the wind, like empty shaft being separated from the grain. So where do you pledge? Ask yourself, where do you pledge your allegiance? Whether it be in your inner life or when no one's watching, or in your external life. Whether you are at work or you're tucked in bed. Who do you worship in your heart? In whose temple? Deep down here, is it light or is it dark? There is no game of chance. It's not about luck. At this present time, you must choose consciously. You must choose and choose wisely. There's nothing like, well, I wasn't too sure. Everyone was doing it. They all said it's okay. It's become legal now, so I did it. If in doubt in your heart, keep them out. Don't think it, don't say it, don't do it unless you're prepared for the consequences. Many people talk about the law of attraction. They have misused the word. The law of attraction is a spiritual law in nature, but they forget that you only attract that which you are to yourself, not what you want, not what you're daydreaming about and wishing to be. Oh, I'm just going to dream up these grand ideas of what I want in life and it would just come to me. All I have to do is my daily affirmations and I'll just attract it to myself like 1 + 1 = 2. No, sister, no, brother. You attract that which you are to yourself. As you think, feel, and act, so you shall be. It's very simple. You cannot be evil and attract good. You cannot be negative and attract positive energy to yourself. You can only attract that which you are to yourself. That is the law of attraction. So if you want to attract good, start by changing yourself to be good. And don't let anyone say to you, be yourself, when being yourself is a mess. And you will not attract what you truly want to be by being yourself. You can make the necessary change to be your better self. That's when you realize you're drawing true inspiration from the right source. And if you realize that your source of inspiration is all wrong, rather than allow yourself to be influenced by it, you will happily skip past them because you are not homogeneous to their kind. You are not the same and you are not on the same frequency as they are. So be mindful of how you let others influence you. So many selfies, so little knowledge of self, so many influences, but are they influencing you badly? Remember to check before you let them in. Is it light or is it dark? Join me next Sunday for the concluding part of where inspiration comes from. We'll be talking inspiration from music, from food, from fashion, from education, all the way down to how we're raising our children. Until then, be inspired, but know which source your inspiration springs from. I pray that you and I will find love and light as our only source of inspiration. Amen to that, and bye for now.